Hi, everyone. This is Tim Harmon again from the Jefferson County General Assembly. This is going to be part two of the birth certificate. I wanted to mention that if you look behind me, you'll see the American flag. It is the civil flag of the United States of America. It was flown over the various buildings during the 1850s before the Civil War. You might ask, why is this important? And maybe you didn't even know that we had a civil flag. But this flag is extremely important because this is the flag that you should be flying at your house. If you fly Old Glory with the horizontal stripes instead of the vertical stripes, that is the flag of war. That is the jurisdiction of the sea. So if you want all these sea-bound people, the military included, coming to your house and saying, hey, we want all your food because you got this flag up, and they could do that. I would suggest that you buy a civil flag to put over your property so that everybody knows that you're a civilian and that you're not at war with anybody. So, moving on, the birth certificate. I was explaining the three jurisdictions, and one of the things you should probably understand is that along with the three jurisdictions are three separate corporations and three separate constitutions. So the first constitution we created in 1887 was called the Constitution for the United States of America. And that was the constitution between the original states saying, hey, we're going to do business with each other and deciding, what the boundaries were for ourselves. And then we created a second constitution, which is called the Constitution of the United States. So the first one was called for the United States of America, the second one of the United States of America. And the reason this was important because the British owned all the sea rights. They owned all the pirates. They were actually licensing pirates to do all business at sea. And so we needed a contract with them. And the Constitution is a contract. The word Constitution means contract. The word federal means contract. So all these different words really mean the same thing, especially in commerce. So we have the Constitution for the United States of America, the Constitution of the United States of America. Then there's a third corporate constitution called the Constitution of the United States. That's the one in all capital letters. So these are different jurisdictions. The first is on the land. Second and third are both at sea, because the first constitution, this creates the second. These people create the third. Now, after this corporation was created, they created all the other corporations. McDonald's, Wendy's, JCPenney's, they're all corporations, and they're all under us, the original Constitution. And then they build on that. I suppose you could look at it as a triangle, people on top, and then under that is the Constitution. I actually have this written down. Let's take a quick look at it. Okay, so I always put God on top. Put God on top, then the man. Man is made in God's image. And God's law is common law. So this is common law right here. God's law, nature's law, common law. Okay, or the law of nature. So it's common sense. Common law is common sense. And then you have the Constitution, which we created, which created government, because without the Constitution, there is no government. And then this is like building the chair that I talked about in the last one. So we're building the chair. So the man, we get together, we create the Constitution, which creates the government, and there's three legs in the government. And then we come up with statutes and codes, that that are in the government. So you always realize that the man is on top, that the man is sovereign, and without the man, there is no government. So the government, the chair cannot tell the man what to do, even though they try to. That's why people get upset over the Second Amendment. They're going to take our rights to guns. They can't take your right to the guns. They can't take your rights to the guns. Even if they wanted to. Like the Brady Bill is not constitutional, folks. The stuff that they do to try to regulate, it's not constitutional. If it ever went to court, and that's the one thing, it has never gone to court. Never. Because they know if it goes to court, they can't win. Now listen, you don't go into their courts. You go into your court. Whenever they take you into their court, you change it up so that you're in your court. I'm not going to get into that just yet. So, as a birth certificate is important. It's important if you desire to work in commerce, you can do that. Okay? Now, is a birth certificate constitutional? Not really. No, of course not. It is a registration at the jurisdiction of the sea. Now, is it constitutional under their constitution? Well, yeah, I suppose it's not in there, but essentially you could say that it is, because this over here is our Constitution, Constitution for the United States of America. We create the second, and there's a third, right? These are both in commerce. These are contracts to do business internationally, and we must be able to do that. We must be able to work internationally. As a man at trade, I can do that. But as these people in commerce over here, they cannot deal with a man. They're not allowed. Okay, so a man records a deed on the land, in the land jurisdiction. A man records his deeds at the courthouse. I suppose in the future I'll show you some of my deeds. But first is called a deed of reconveyance or reconveyance deed. What it does is it takes my names and anything else I want to reconvey. Anything I don't want them to touch, I can write on that deed. My DNA, the frequencies in my head, my house, my car, my dog, my cat, I don't care what it is. Whatever you don't want them to touch, you can put it on that deed. It's a reconveyance deed that you are reconveying to the land, so they can't touch it. I've done this with my property, with my truck. Okay? So I own the name, and I own what is mine because it's in my name. I'm the man. Anything in that name is mine. Period. That's why it can't be taxed. That's why property tax is not constitutional. We cannot be directly taxed. If you read through the Article 1, Section 9, Section 10, it says we have the right to make contract or not to make contract. That's in 10. In 9, that's 1.9, 1.10. In 1.9, it says that we cannot be directly taxed. So the only way they do income tax is they make you a federal employee. And they say you are domiciled in the District of Columbia. So what you do is you make out a deed that says, I am domiciled in Pennsylvania. Ta-da! No more federal income tax. Okay? Now there's some hoops that you're going to have to jump through. You need to do it right. You need to do it proper, and I'm not going to go into that right now. But basically, that's all it is. It's not that complicated. See, they use the birth certificate. You record a deed. So that makes more sense. They domicile you in DC. And you domicile yourself on your state, home state, wherever it is, Ohio, New York, Wisconsin, California, it doesn't matter. You record the deed. onto the soil of where you were born. And it doesn't matter where you're at when you do it, because no matter what your state you're in, when you go to that courthouse, you're putting yourself on the soil, because that's what you're writing into the deed. Now, if I had trouble recording a deed in Jefferson County, and I'm not really having any trouble anymore. First couple of times I went down, they didn't really understand. But now when I walk in, they almost know my name. Actually, they probably do know my name. So now, if I had a problem, though, I could go to West Virginia and put the deed, in a courthouse in West Virginia, and it would still be valid. And that's what I'm trying to explain. I keep bumping the computer here, and it's going like this. I apologize, but at any rate, what happens is, so we record our name, our trade names, to the soil. And you need to go ahead and go to Jefferson County Joral Assembly.org. That's Jefferson County Joral Assembly.org. And when you get there, take a look at the deeds. Copy the deeds in whatever way you want to do it. I could care less. You can do your picture thing and put it on your computer and whatever you need to do. I don't care. I actually have paperwork that are blanked out, so you can just fill in the blanks. I've actually done that for people here in Jefferson County. So if they want to come to me and they say, I need to record deeds, I guess, all I do is hand it to them. They fill in the blanks. They can take it to the courthouse. It's simple. I was wanting to do that so that you could actually print that from online. It's a little harder because you have to fill in all blanks, and that's Pennsylvania, Jefferson County, the names, the dates, and all that stuff. And it takes it 2 pages to 3 pages because of all the blank lines that you have to actually fill in. But it can be done. And if you need any help, you have to call me. You have to talk to me. You have to send me email, something, because I'm not a mind reader and I don't know who's watching this video. So the birth certificate, you could say it's important. You could say it's not important, because if you understand that your deeds are recorded on the land, as soon as you record your deeds to the land, the birth certificate becomes null and void, except as a trust fund. Now, as a trust fund, what you can do is use that fund to pay the taxes, to pay utility bills, to do other things like that, if you really need to. I'm not suggesting that you do it every time. But if you get in a pinch, it's created for the debtor. So that'll work for you. I'm going to go ahead and stop and go ahead to the part 3. But go to Jefferson County Joral Assembly.org and take a look around, and then watch video 3.